Morning guys, Helen for Two Spuds in the Pod here. So those of you who know me usually know that I have a really quirky mind and it works in very mysterious ways, which is often a good thing. So this is the story. This is what the lowdown is. Sunday coming, which is 26th of April, I am scheduled to do the Kilt Walk, and that is a walk in Glasgow. It's Glasgow to Balloch and it's about 23 miles. I booked onto that, I think, January time of this year and thought it would be a challenge, get myself organised and so on and so forth. Obviously the situation hit about March time and most outdoor events and most things were obviously postponed and cancelled, and obviously my Kilt Walk is now postponed until further notice. Hoping to do it later on in the year, but this is where my brain got thinking. I'm seeing a lot of people doing stuff in their garden, and that is the one thing I have access to, a garden. So during the last little while I made a diagram. It's on a bit of kitchen roll, easy as that. If you have a brain wave, write it down. I have measured out my garden. It equates roughly to about 68 metres if I include my driveway. And this is where it gets interesting. I then went inside and used the calculator. When we're doing this sort of maths, the calculator is definitely what you want to be doing. So I equated to 68 metres. How many times around my garden do I need to walk to make 23 mile? Now, the good answer is, it can be achieved. The bad answer is it's going to take me 545 laps, so 545 laps, to get round to equate to 23 miles. It's a challenge. It is definitely a challenge. But it's one that's going to be worth it. And the reason it's going to be worth it is because it's for a charity. Now, the charity I picked is something called Marie Curie, who helps a lot of people in a lot of crises. So this was my charity all along, and I have decided that this is what we're going to be doing. So 545 laps of my garden for the charity Marie Curie. To keep track, I have one of these things. Pretty sure you know what that one is. Phone. Yeah, good. That is what's going to equate to my steps, which again, using a very nice calculator, I've equated to roughly 52,000. So 52,000 steps is 23 miles and 545 laps. Is it doable? That's what we're going to find out. Cool. So as I say, it's 545 laps of my garden. Now, if I'm going to keep track of that, I am likely to lose count. And knowing me, I'll probably do under, I might do over, and yeah, well, 545 laps in your head is quite a lot of times once you're trying to get started. So, this is my ingenious plan. There are 100 pegs, start to finish. There are 5 down there, well, 5.5 down there, okay? So, this is what's going to happen. Every time I do a lap, I take a peg, throw it into the basket, and so on. Once I get to 100, one of these guys comes off and goes in there. So I know where it is. My support team, aka Rosie, every time it gets less and less, is going to start putting them onto the other side, turn around the washing line, hey presto, I can start another lap.
So, she's off on her first lap. Just going to follow to see, well, show you guys where she's going to be walking. Yeah, we will be heading against the sun for a bit. That's the garden done. Out to the pathway. Just avoiding the cars here. And she is on the driveway. And that's the first lap done. Brilliant.
100 down. 100 down. 428 to go. The good news is I have 15 laps less because we made a slight calculation mishap. The bad news is it is probably going to take another 10 hours to do it. That was clocking in 2 hours 12 and I still have 428 laps to go. Alright, for a good cause, let's go.
Helen, I can't believe what you've done today. You're absolutely crazy, but also fantastic and amazing and just awesome. So very well done you. I'm so proud of you and I hope you are too. So obviously guys, if you don't know, she's decided to walk 530 laps of our garden and driveway. I mean, what would you get for a good cause? Because that's what she does. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I don't think that I could do it, and yeah, anyways, I just wanted to let you know, Helen, that I think you're fantastic, amazing, and any other great word that you can think of. So yes, you've done yourself very proud. I know there will be sore legs later, and guess who's going to look after them for you? I'm happy to do the groundwork, help you and make sure that you have everything that you need for it today. So yeah, fantastic, absolutely amazing. And also guys, for who else is watching this, there's a Just Giving page up for the 2 Spuds challenge, all in aid of Marie Curie. Okay, have a good one.
Alright, 200 laps down. My hip flexors are giving me some jip, so I'm going to go and stretch those out. About 4.5 hours at this point, so I've got another 328 to do. So that equates to a lot more hours, an awful lot more hours. However, lunchtime, going to grab some food, and then we're going 328 to go.
How you feeling?
My hips hurt. Oh, throbby hips. Alright guys, thought I'd take you on my halfway mark stroll because it's actually quite a big occasion, this halfway point. All my training at this point has taken me to the half marathon status, and I was training up until about probably mid-March, beginning of March for my training, and I was up to kind of half marathon status. Obviously with the situation going on, I had to stop that because we can't obviously go out into the wilderness, although you could walk around your garden like I'm doing obviously. So all of this going forward, so the next kind of 6 hours, the next how many loops are we on? 265 more to go, is actually stuff I have never done before, to walk into kind of sub-marathon. So it's not quite a marathon because Kiltwalk's only 23 mile, but the marathon's obviously 26.2. I will not be doing that today. I will just be doing the Kiltwalk, which is obviously 23. So as I say, anything going forward, so all the stuff I'm doing while I'm talking to you is all new stuff. This is stuff I have never in my life done. So when I get to the end of this, I will obviously be incredibly happy, probably incredibly sore, but I will be incredibly happy because A, we've done it for a fantastic cause, for Marie Curie obviously, and B, I've kind of extended what I kind of set out to do, which is trying to get up to marathon standard with walking. So it's another kind of lesson to get out of your comfort zones. Most people have a garden, most people have a driveway. As long as you keep in with safe distancing, there's absolutely no reason, I personally think, that you can't go and do laps. Maybe not as many as 528. I mean, admit that's a lot, don't get me wrong, but there's kind of nothing stopping you. This is the point of this. It's mind over matter. I mean, my hips are sore. I've got music, as you can probably see, around there. It's kind of taking the worst of it away. I see Rosie every time I go into the garden to say hi. She's kind of busy in her greenhouse and stuff. And it's kind of the wanting to do it to push yourself on. There's nothing that's massive as that to kind of get you out your comfort zone and push you ahead. So that's kind of a very important kind of lesson through all this. So as I say, yeah, halfway point, anything else going forward. So that's 2 laps already after that 2:65. So this is obviously brand new territory for me. And let's just hope that my hips keep going. They don't give up at any point. Neither does the rest of me. Yeah, we'll kind of see what we can do over the next six hours. $300 down, 300 laps, 228, still on the clock though. It's over the best bit, we're over the hard bit even. There's still a lot of miles and a lot of laps still to go. Oh. Alright, and one more time, here we go. So, the best bit about doing this at home is I have my own stretcher already there, stretching out my quads. Well, not my quads, my hamstrings and my calves. My lovely missus. Try to stretch them out. All these tight corners, my hips are taking quite a battering. So just trying to stretch them out because I've got another 228 laps to go. So other than that, not many kind of major catastrophes, but yeah, good to have a stretch. Alright, so I have just got about 200 laps still to go. My hips haven't really improved, so that's a bit of a crisis, but they're okay for now. Kind of regular stretching, which is slowing down the time slightly, but at least I can do that. Calves are starting to get a little bit tight, but stretch them as well, and they seem to be okay for the minute. So regular kind of stretching, and as we do this, it's taking a bit longer than I'd originally thought because I can only gather up speed on the driveway, which is about 21 meters. So I can gather up speed on that and then gather up speed down the other side, but the rest of it is short bursts with sharp turns and things like that. So it's proving a little bit tricky, and the turns I need to do are quite sharp, as I say. So every time I turn, that's the hips kind of giving me a nod that they're not quite happy about the situation. But it's at that point where most people who do these long distance events get to at some point or other that it's kind of that 50-50 of you really want to continue, but your body's kind of crying out that do you want it to continue? And it's a question that may arise again. At the minute I'm okay to kind of carry on, so we'll be doing that, but it's a lot of toll for the body. I think I underestimated how much toll it would take. I mean, I'm quite fit as we are, but I think with all these sharp turns and short bursts, it's definitely more challenging than I originally thought when I thought about this crazy idea. But in this kind of time, you need to think of what else is going on, and what I mean by that is I'm obviously doing this for Marie Curie, so that is that's obviously a very well-known charity that helps a lot of people in crisis, and I keep having to think that what they're going through, what they may be going through, and the people that Marie Curie go and help is obviously a lot worse than walking a few laps of the garden. So put that into perspective and kind of get your brain active with that, you find straight away that you'll keep going that bit further and you'll keep going that bit longer. Nope, I'm done. Alright, so we have to kind of stop what we're doing today. My hip is unfortunately is worse. We've tried absolutely everything to try and make it last straight through all the 23 miles, but unfortunately it is not a happy bunny. So I'm gonna have to resign for today, go and sort it out, give it some rest, give it some ice and things like that, and then carry on tomorrow. It is a bit gutting because I wanted to complete it all today, but obviously with these tight turns and things, my right hip in particular is really not happy at the minute, so it's probably going to be unsafe for me to continue at this point because we don't have easy access to our physio and things like that. As I say, it is a bit of a shame, but I will continue it tomorrow. I did about 16.5 mile. There's about 6.5 to go. So it'll be done over 2 days rather than the one. So a bit gutted, but a fantastic achievement. I need to go and rest up, and then I will come back tomorrow and do round 2. Morning guys, so as of yesterday I did say I had to obviously withdraw from the walking just because of my hip, so I've kind of been dealing with it overnight, and there are now 68 pegs left on the track, so they're all there lined up ready to go. And those of you who are aware of who I am will know that I usually stay true to my word, and I'll have 68 times round the garden, down the driveway, coming back through, and so on. So without further ado, let's go. But, and this is important, this doesn't count. Let me explain why. With the help of my model, let me explain why I am not doing 68 rounds today. So, this is our house. Nice little drawing of my house. Our driveway is 21 meters. The little path into my garden is 11, and then that is my garden, 11.5, 9.5, 8, and then a 7 there. When my missus kind of measured it all out and I wrote it all down, this was the program we had. After I was dealing with my hip yesterday, she came and said, oops. And I said, what? And she went, I think I made a mistake in the calculations. And I went, What she has forgotten to do is times this one by 2, times that one by 2. I have done that, I think, something like 400 times. So, this equates to a marathon. A marathon, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday I walked an entire marathon in my back garden, which we estimated was about 400 laps. I do not need to do 68 more. My hip is throbbing, but I enjoyed every minute of it, even though I complained. Well, you know, have to complain at some point. Enjoyed every minute of it. It was a fantastic cause. This will fade. My hip will get better in a couple of days' time. I know what to do with it. The money that we raise hopefully will go to Marie Curie, which is fantastic news. And I get to sit down today. So, there you go. The reason why I will be not doing 68 more laps. However, because we made the small mistake yesterday, I didn't get to do my victory lap. So if you excuse me, I'm going to go and do that right now. So here is where the issue lies, because there's a step. Now yesterday I would have just jumped down, but today we're just going to hobble down here. Just a little hobble, it'll be fine. The state of my grass is definitely something to be proud of. You can see every single mark on the 400 attempts that I have put in here. So, little bridge that we made earlier. Step up. Let me step down. And again, step up. Yesterday, no problems. Today, not so much. So the problem with the hip obviously was the tight corners, and this is one of them coming up. So this is one of the tight corners I was explaining about. So it's coming around in this kind of position here, and then having to do that. And there's a couple of tight spots as well. I did try and kind of alternate it and move it around and things like that, but unfortunately the other way was even tighter, so I had to just kind of leave what it was. I'm done. And that is a marathon in your garden.